Imagine standing on the African savanna nearly 2 million years ago. In front of you, a herd of antelope moves silently across the grass, strong, fast, always alert. Only moments ago, a pride of lions successfully brought one of them down. The lions were born for this. They had powerful jaws, razor-sharp claws, explosive speed. Our ancestors had none of these advantages. No claws, no fangs, no armor, no incredible strength. And yet, today, humans are the most successful hunters this planet has ever known. How did that happen? If gathering plants kept humans alive, if scavenging predator kills provided valuable meat, why would our ancestors ever risk hunting healthy animals themselves? The answer didn't begin with better weapons. It began with a problem. For hundreds of thousands of years, gathering plants and scavenging predator kills helped early humans survive. Wild berries, edible roots, honey, bird eggs, bone marrow, every discovery brought another day of life. Fire eventually made many of these foods easier to eat, but survival was becoming more complicated. The African landscape was changing. Dry seasons lasted longer. Many plants disappeared for months. Fruit became unpredictable. Even predator kills could no longer be trusted. Sometimes lions finished everything. Sometimes hyenas crushed every bone. Sometimes vultures arrived first. Sometimes there was simply nothing left. As families slowly grew larger, so did the demand for food. And perhaps the greatest challenge of all, the human brain was continuing to grow. That remarkable organ demanded enormous amounts of energy every single day. Nature had provided one solution. Now it demanded another. Nature had presented humans with a cruel paradox. The richest source of food on the African savanna wasn't growing on trees. It was running across the grass. Herds of antelope, gazelles, young zebras, thousands of kilograms of meat, always just out of reach. Every predator around them had evolved for the hunt. Lions exploded forward with incredible power. Leopards relied on stealth. Wild dogs hunted in relentless packs. Even hyenas possessed crushing jaws capable of breaking bone. Humans had none of it. No claws, no sharp teeth, no thick fur to protect them, no incredible speed. A healthy antelope could sprint at nearly 90 kilometers per hour. The fastest human alive today cannot come close to that. So the question becomes almost impossible. How does the weakest predator on the savanna hunt the fastest prey? For a very long time, the answer was simple. They didn't. Instead, early humans watched. They observed. They learned where animals drank, which paths they followed, how they reacted to danger, when they rested, and when they became vulnerable. Long before humans became great hunters, they became exceptional students of nature. Every footprint, every broken branch, every distant alarm call became a lesson. Without realizing it, they were preparing for one of the greatest evolutionary breakthroughs in history, because the first successful hunt would not begin with strength. It would begin with knowledge. Imagine chasing an antelope across the African savanna, not for a few seconds, not for a few hundred meters, but for hours. At first it sounds ridiculous. The antelope is faster, stronger, and built for escape. Within seconds, it disappears over the horizon. Most predators would simply give up. But humans did something almost no other mammal could do. They kept going. Not because they were faster, but because they were built to endure. Unlike lions, humans cooled their bodies by sweating across nearly their entire skin. Long legs made walking and running more efficient. powerful tendons stored energy with every stride. A flexible waist helped balance the body over long distances. While many animals relied on speed, humans relied on stamina. The chase became a test of endurance. The antelope sprinted away, then stopped to recover. The humans kept walking. It ran again. The humans kept coming. Again and again. Under the relentless African sun, the animal gradually lost its ability to cool itself. Each sprint pushed it closer to exhaustion. Hours after the chase had begun, the antelope could barely run. For the first time, speed was no longer enough. The hunters had never needed to outrun their prey. They only needed to outlast it. Today, some traditional communities, including the San people of southern Africa, have demonstrated that persistence hunting is possible under the right conditions. Many scientists believe this remarkable strategy may reflect an ancient adaptation, although exactly how common it was among early humans is still debated. Whether it happened every week or only under specific conditions, the principle remained extraordinary. Humans had discovered a way to hunt without being the fastest predator on Earth. And this was only the beginning. Outlasting an animal was only part of the challenge. Bringing it down was something else entirely. A frightened antelope could still kick with incredible force. A wounded zebra could break bones. Even a successful chase could end in disaster. One person alone stood little chance. But humans had discovered something far more powerful than sharp claws. They had each other. A hunt was no longer the work of a single individual. It became a shared effort. Some tracked footprints through the dust. Others watched the horizon for danger. The strongest moved closer to the exhausted animal. Everyone had a role. Over time, simple wooden spears gave hunters a safer way to keep their distance. Later, carefully shaped stone points made those weapons even more effective. Archaeological discoveries, including the remarkable wooden spears found at Schöningen in Germany, show that by around 300,000 years ago, humans were already crafting sophisticated hunting tools designed for large animals. But a spear by itself changed very little. The real innovation was the mind behind it. A successful hunt demanded planning, patience, trust, and communication. Every hunt became a lesson. Experienced hunters showed younger members how to read tracks, predict animal movements, and work as a team. Knowledge was no longer lost with one lifetime. It could be passed from one generation to the next. For perhaps the first time in history, survival depended as much on shared intelligence as it did on individual strength. The hunt had become more than a search for food. It had become a classroom, and every successful hunt made the next one more likely. Without realizing it, our ancestors were building something far greater than better hunters. They were building culture. Hunting gave early humans far more than meat. It changed the way they lived. A successful hunt could feed an entire group for days. Children no longer depended only on whatever plants happened to be growing nearby. Communities became more resilient during difficult seasons. As hunting skills improved, so did the ability to survive in unfamiliar environments. Humans slowly expanded beyond the African savanna, crossing deserts, woodlands, mountains, and eventually entire continents. But perhaps the greatest transformation happened inside the human mind. Every hunt demanded observation, planning, memory, communication, and cooperation. These were not skills used for a single afternoon. They were practiced, refined. and passed from one generation to the next. Over thousands of years, this shared knowledge accumulated. Each generation inherited more than food. It inherited experience. The hunt became one of humanity's greatest teachers. It rewarded patience over panic, strategy over strength, cooperation over competition. Long before humans built cities, or wrote books, or launched spacecraft into the sky, they'd already mastered something extraordinary. They had learned how to solve impossible problems together. The world's greatest predator was never the strongest or the fastest. It was the one that could learn, adapt, and teach. That is why humans changed the planet, while countless stronger animals disappeared. Not because evolution gave us better claws or sharper teeth, but because it gave us something far more powerful, a mind capable of learning together. The story of hunting was never just about finding food. It was the story of how humanity learned to shape its own future. But one mystery still remains. Hunting was dangerous. Getting close to large animals often meant risking your own life. So who looked at an ordinary piece of wood and imagined the world's first weapon? That story changed everything.